Right, before you watch this video, I suggest, if you haven't already, go to the link below or go to your PSN store and download Final Fantasy XVI. Play the demo, experience the demo, embrace the demo. Then come back to this video and we can talk all things Final Fantasy XVI. If you are not sold on Final Fantasy XVI just yet, then please watch this video, skip to a certain section that you want to hear more about, listen to my experiences, and then maybe you want to go over to the PlayStation Network and download the demo and see it for yourself, and then maybe that might lead to a pre-order so you can be with us all on June 22nd playing Final Fantasy XVI. However you want to tackle this video, it's up to you. You can clearly see I've got a bit of excitement in me because this is the second time I'm playing Final Fantasy. I was blessed to go to the Tower of London in April to play it, and I've been waiting for this moment to play it once again. So with that all being said, let's get right into it. What is up, guys? Jen here. Hope you are all doing well. Welcome back to the channel. Timestamps in the description down below if you want to skip to a certain section of the video, if there's something more interested than something else. Watch the video however you want, whatever floats your boat. All I ask is for you to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you like the content, hit the notification bell if you want to be notified of that content, and of course come to me comment section and just, you know, comment in the comment section. Let's get involved and let's have a good talk of all things Final Fantasy XVI. So I'm just going to dive straight into it. I've been waiting for this moment. I tried to watch the live stream last night and I managed to watch it until the combat demo. Then I was getting really tired because it was about 2 AM here in the UK. And we already got the demo announcement that it was going to be dropping across the world. We had the times. For me it was 9 AM, so I was like, I need to get to sleep and be ready for this demo. So as soon as it hit 9 o'clock, download the demo. I've been playing it since. I've literally just finished doing all the combat extra stuff once you complete the main prologue. So I've got quite a bit of things to talk about, of course, mixed in with my experience when I played it the first time in London. So yes, let's get straight into it. And the most important thing is I'm not going to have any story related spoilers. If anything, I'm going to be talking about gameplay and the things that the demo has to offer, weaved in and out with the things I experienced at the preview event in London. So I'm going to start off with story and characters. Of course, I'm not going to talk about it, but I'm going to use the words I used last time. I was locked in to what I was seeing and hearing. I was rocked from what I experienced, and I was engaged all the way through to the point where I said thanks for playing, and I was like, I want more! I want even more! This story is really engaging. The prologue does a fantastic job of getting that hook into you and really kind of setting the scene for Final Fantasy XVI. It is going to be a wild journey. Let's touch on the characters. Clive, I love Clive. Favorite protagonist, I'm saying it now. I said I was nearly there in my preview video. If you want to see that, you can click over there. But I said I was nearly there. I think after today, I am there. And the supporting cast of characters that we've seen in that prologue, I'm in. I am all in. The way the cutscenes are structured, the camera angles, the music, the sound effects, the facial animations, really, really impressive. We are truly seeing the power of the PlayStation 5 with Final Fantasy XVI, and that really isn't just like a tagline that's thrown in there. We are getting the best of the PlayStation 5 with this game, and it really shows through the way the story is told, through its graphical fidelity and facial animations, voice acting, music, and it's quite the experience. I'm going to tone it down just a little bit now and move on from that, and we're going to go straight into gameplay. And within this demo we get to do a bit of exploration, we get to do a bit of combat. Of course, if you complete the prologue, you get to play the combat demo, which I believe is the same demo that was showcased in like March, I believe. I think a lot of people said it was very dark. It wasn't that dark for me, but let's talk on exploration first. So I really love just kind of walking around a world that is given to me and kind of taking it in, listening to NPCs chatter, just seeing what they do in the background, and this is doing it all really well. You can listen to what's going off in the events that are happening as and when. You can go over and see someone doing something, contributing to the town that you're in, or kind of setting up for something else. It's really, really in depth and really kind of immerses you that much more. And you go around, you've got items you can find. In the combat demo in particular, there's chests all over the place with certain accessories that you might need. The items, the sparkly items, are mostly like crafting materials or potions. You're going to need them, especially playing this game without any timely accessories, but we'll get into all that when we touch on combat. So you really want to kind of go and search every nook and cranny. There are some paths that are not the path you want to go down, but you want to kind of, you know, veer just to the left a little bit, veer just to the right a little bit. You can do it in here, and you are indeed rewarded for it, whether it is an item that you can keep or equip, or it's a little bit more to the story, or just immerses you in the world that little bit more. You can see that I am really, really kind of like pleased with what I played, and I might be very, very positive about it, but this is just my experience, and I'm really, really keen to see if your experience with the demo was different. Let me know, because we can have a conversation. I want to see where you guys are at, because obviously I'm all the way up here, and I kind of want to try and convince you guys to why I am there. So let's move on from exploration and kind of talk about the menu. So the first thing I did when I had access to it was I dove into the system settings. Obviously I played this on performance mode because at the moment I was playing it on my 1080 monitor, so graphic fidelity doesn't really matter right now. But even playing it on that performance mode, the buildings and the atmosphere and just the environments to the character models are just crisp. So I'm really excited to go into the other room, load it on up on the 4K TV, and just experience that environment and those effects just a little bit more. So I went through all the system settings and seen what was there to offer and messed around with a few things. I had a look at the button layouts, the 3 different types of button layouts. I just stuck with type A. Also in the menu, when you get a little bit further through the prologue, you can view the map. It's a small section, but you get an idea of how lovely this map's going to be as you kind of travel the world of Final Fantasy XVI. You kind of go into the character menu, whoever's with you in the party. You've got a nice little pixel art in the bottom right corner. You can go through all your statistics. Highlighting it will tell you what that statistic does. So HP is obviously health points, and you can look at the other stats and see what changes when you equip and where you want to be at when it comes to those statistics. There's not loads what we've gotten in past titles, but there is enough there for you to definitely kind of have a look and see what you need to do. We'll go to the abilities menu, and of course you want to look through all these abilities. You get an opportunity to upgrade some of these abilities and learn a few more, especially when it comes to the combat demo. You will probably want to really mess around and get in depth with it and customize it just a little bit more. I'm really excited to see what the full game offers when we have all access to all of the icons and all of the abilities, unlocking all the ability points and just seeing where we go from there. It's going to be, I can see it now going on YouTube, all of these kind of custom builds are going to be really insane, and it's all going to happen in that ability menu when you kind of like, you need to master this, don't master this one just yet because you want to equip this one. It's going to be really, really cool, and there's going to be so much flexibility because of just the way they handle the combat. Again, we'll get to that when we get to combat. What else was in the menu? We had equipment, and of course equipment works like any other past title. You have your weapon, you have your kind of like armor, and then you have like a bangle or a belt, and then underneath that you have the accessories, and that's where you can use the timely accessories. And I'm going to say right now, timely accessories, I didn't use them because I really wanted to kind of feel this combat. I wanted to learn and I wanted to adapt, and the game does that phenomenally well, though there is the option to equip those if you need be, but I had no need for them, and I absolutely loved my time with Final Fantasy XVI. I think that's everything with the menu. And then talking about menus, I kind of want to talk about the active lore system. This is really, really cool, and you can use it as much as you want during the prologue. So if you kind of listen into a piece of dialogue and you're thinking, what is this dude on about? What is he talking to me about? Hold your touchpad, boom. Everything that's being talked about in that kind of part of the cutscene is there for you to just get a nice little text box to kind of summarize it with you, just like that. Obviously, when we get towards the full game, we'll have access to so much more lore, especially when we get to Cid's Hideaway. But when you're starting out and you want to learn about the world of Final Fantasy XVI, the active time lore system. It's phenomenal the way it works. So you really want to kind of like have a look at it, learn more about the characters. And I did it quite a few times when I was going through it. I was like, okay, I want to learn a bit more about this character. And it really added to the story for me. Like, yes, I decided to be a bit of a pause champ in some of the cutscenes, but what I learnt really kind of just added to the experience of the story for me. From menus to music, I've got to talk about the music and the sound design of Final Fantasy XVI, because it's the first time I got a good listen to it, and I really did. I spent ages on the PSN menu. I spent ages on the main menu just listening to the music, and I was taking it in, and it's incredible. Soken has got a banger on his hands, and I think this is going to be a soundtrack that we're going to be listening to for the ages. It's going to be among the tops, and there's some really phenomenal tracks in here that really get you going. The battle themes get you going, hearing the classic battle bass line that I've mentioned before. It's all here and it's incredible. Talking about sounds, the sounds are crisp and clean. It really kind of adds to the experience, and we've got the haptic feedbacks as well, so it really kind of enhances those sounds in a way, if that makes sense. So like the clanging of the swords and just the kind of like flesh to metal, the noises are satisfying, the walking, the footsteps, and feeling it ever so gently in the controller as well. The sound during the cutscenes combined with the music, like Soken again has done a phenomenal job here. And I'm really excited to listen to more tracks. I'm excited to hear maybe some vocal themes that I've heard that have been teased with Koji Fox. So I want to get a bit of that Final Fantasy XIV goodness in there as well. And I guess this relates to kind of just touching on the voice acting as well. And that is just... I am gushing about this game through and through, and it's going to be the same when I get to combat. But the music, the sound, the voice acting... the overall just sound design of this game is incredible. And I don't know how many times I've used the word incredible, but I truly mean it. This is an experience for the ages, and of course music and sound is important to that experience. So let's move on to combat now. The driving force, well, I think it's one of many driving forces of Final Fantasy XVI. I know that combat's always been a highlight because it's changed from the past titles of Final Fantasy, but it is one of many factors, story being one of them, characters being another one, gameplay, exploration being another. Combat is under that same umbrella for me, especially after playing the demo. So it really eases you into combat really well, the way this prologue works, and you will have the options to really kind of learn the basics and then take them on your own accord and learn from that. Obviously, with the prologue, you are starting from the beginning, so your combat kind of inventory is bare bones. Your abilities are not all there yet. If you really want to see more of that, you do the combat demo once you've beaten the prologue to really get a feel of combat and really experiment with the combat, and that's what I did, but we'll touch on that in just a second. The combat in the prologue really was well done and built itself up accordingly to that, and it's almost like the story, the characters, the combat, the gameplay all going up together in the same wavelength. That's how I felt, and you don't really feel that in most games, and it really helps, especially to someone who's new to the action RPG genre. I say new, not so great at it, but I felt great playing this, and I had no kind of accessories, and I didn't play on the story mode, so I felt really good about it and felt confident that I want to learn more, and that's why I'm going to keep going back to the combat demo to really kind of get a taste of all the combat that it has to offer. Parries are satisfying, blocking is satisfying, dodging is satisfying. If you pull it off all right and you kind of get to see that thing kind of flash at the right side of the screen, and you get a little bit of a slowdown when you do it perfectly, really satisfying, and it made me want to learn. The way you should handle combat and the way I handled it is you need patience. You want to study the things around you, maybe not with the fodder, with a few goblins here and there, you might want to just kind of slash them away, but when it comes to the more kind of prominent enemies that have a bit of a higher health bar and the stagger bar is a lot longer to kind of get down, study their attacks, really anticipate what's coming next, and when you kind of have that in your mind and you're implementing your Eikon abilities and you are implementing kind of dodges and parries, you are going to have such a successful and satisfying time with combat. I think that's all I really need to say when it comes to the combat of the prologue, and I touched on the combat demo, so we're going to move on to that now. So the combat demo kind of throws you into, again, what we've seen in March. You have 3 icons at your disposal. You've got Phoenix, you've got Garudin, you've got Titan, which is great. You have a plethora of abilities to play around with. You can unlock some more, and you can master more. You can go around the arena, kind of level up, go back and find some other enemies, and really kind of like test out what you want to do. And this really tested me, because through the prologue you don't switch between icons, you just have access to Phoenix. So when you're doing the combat demo, you have 3 to switch a split between. So I really had to train my mind that L2 was the one to kind of switch through, and that I had all these abilities on cooldowns, because each icon has 2 abilities and you can switch and swap between them as long as the cooldown has happened. So I really had to train my mind and learn about it, as well as remembering when to dodge, who to lock onto, who to prioritize in a group of enemies, and it really does a good job of teaching you that. And you have a few boss battles, a few sub-boss battles along that journey as well, to really test your might. And I was tested, like there was a few times where I got hit a lot, and I was thinking, okay, right, let's just come back, Jen, let's take it back just for a second, let's have a look how this enemy's kind of tackling me, and study it. So I'll take my distance just a little bit, throw a few fires at them, and kind of see what they're doing, dodge when it was appropriate, have that quick slowdown, then mash my abilities. When I say mash, I don't mean button mash, I mean like cycle through them accordingly to really kind of take the advantage of them, get them staggered. Then by the time I've used those abilities, the cooldown has reset and I'm going to go all in. And then maybe I've got my limit break as well, so I hit those analog sticks in and I'm going full ham on the enemy, and it's satisfying. I had no gripes with the combat. Anything that was wrong with the combat, it was wrong with me. I made the mistake, and that's key when it comes to a combat system. You don't want to play a combat system where you know that you've done right, but the game has done it wrong. This is the other way round, like the game will know when you've done wrong and you'll be punished for it. You can't just button mash your way through this game unless you take in the timely accessories, and obviously that's a different story in itself, and it really helps out players that are not that confident with the combat. I really need to applaud that, like these timely accessory rings to kind of like really balanced combat to all play styles is a great system, but I've not really messed around with those timely accessories, so I can't speak for it. So again, that's a place for you guys to chime in that may have used the timely accessories to let me know what your experience was like. Mine without it was just on it. So combat, very good. I really suggest that if you've gone through the prologue, to go back to the combat demo a few times and really experiment with what you want to do and see what works for you best. And if you want to use some timely accessories, use them. If you don't want to use them, that's fine. It's to whatever suits you best, and that's what's going to be such a good factor to the game, because there's going to be so many play styles. I may talk to someone and I say, oh well, I beat this boss like this, and they're going to tell me a completely different story on how they did it, and they'll mention something and I'll be like, oh yeah, I didn't think of that, and then I want to go back and try it. And the fact that we have the ability to do that when we go to like Sid's Hideaway and go to the Arietta Stone, I can't praise it enough. I had a really good time with this demo, and these are just words that I'm just speaking. I want to talk to more people that have played the demo, and I'm hoping this video does that. I just want to hear more experiences and how you found it, and I'm hoping that my words reach people that may not be really that interested in Final Fantasy XVI. That's my aim here. I want to talk about it because I'm excited. I want to play the full game right now, but at the same time I want to just talk to all of you guys about it. So that's where I'm at. I think that's everything I want to cover. I just wanted to just do the main factors. No problems with this demo whatsoever. I'm sure if you go over on Twitter without looking at any spoilers, if you haven't played it yet, you'll see a lot of people are in the same boat as me, and I'm hoping that you guys are in that same boat. And if you're not, that's fine. Let's talk about it and let's have some fun. So I'm going to wrap things up. I appreciate your time, and until next time guys, I'll catch you on the flip side.